here. Hey there, guys. What's going on? My name is Andres Velasquez, a real estate agent with Signature Realty. I've actually got a really special guest with me, someone that I had on last year, sometime around the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We were talking a lot about solar because a lot of us are started working from home, transitioning from working remotely, where our expenses probably weren't as high, to like working from home, where our expenses started shooting through the roof. And so I feel like now is probably a better time than any to sort of recap the conversation that we had and kind of touch on different subjects, because a lot has changed, not just in the sense of where we're working from, but even from the perspective of the guest I have on, Kayla. Kayla, please introduce yourself for everyone watching.
What's up, everybody? My name is Kayla Ceballos, representing Solar Gleam Energy. And Andres, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things I wanted to touch on real quick was you made a transition from a previous company to a new company now. Is that right? Or
Yeah, from a previous dealer to a new dealer. Still working with SunPower, though.
okay, excellent, excellent. So how long, just real quick, I feel like an intro would be pretty awesome. How long have you been working in, I guess, the solar panel industry?
I've been in solar for about 2 years and a half now, almost 3 years. The name of our company right now is Solar Gleam Energy, and we are a non-installing SunPower dealer. And we've been in business for a year now. So actually, we just officially completed a year this week. So we're really excited about that. It's been a great journey so far.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, listen, I do have a series of questions for you. Everyone watching, we want to touch on the most important topics because I feel like there's a lot of like the stigmatism when it comes to solar panels, right? It's very salesy. You do see them door knocking. I've actually, when I go door knocking, I see another solar panel company guy or woman door knocking as well. So it is a salesy job. And I respect it in that sense, because a lot of it's kind of hitting the pavement, trying to sell to the, people that you think would be best prospects. But I think one of
Hmm.
the things that I want to touch on with the questions I'm going to ask you is touching on a lot of topics that I feel like a lot of people don't really have a lot of clarity on. So like the first question is on average, right? Because I know that there's a lot of wiggle room depending on the person. It's subjective, but on average, how much does a solar panel owner save on their electric bill?
So, based on our experience so far and with all of our clients personally, we've been able to help homeowners save over 40% on their monthly electric bill. And that's because of the incentives that are currently in place. New Jersey has great incentives, and New York does as well. Those are the two areas that we focus on right now. But we've been able to help homeowners literally cut their bills in half by going solar.
Oh my God. Okay. That's awesome. And I guess, when you talk about solar, I mean, one of the biggest benefits from what it sounds like is the savings that you get on, your bill. Are there any sort of setbacks, or are there any other advantages to getting solar panel that maybe go unnoticed, right? That some people may not think of or see in the immediate future, or the immediate times that they get the panels installed? Is there an advantage or disadvantage? And if you can comment on both.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, there's a ton of benefits that many people are not aware of. And that's where we come in, is to really educate the homeowner on how the program actually works. A lot of people think they have to pay to go solar, but with this program, there's no money down, there's no out of pocket expense. You do have to meet certain qualifications, but the actual transition doesn't cost you a penny. In addition to that, you're saving immediately, right? You also have all of these incentives that are funded by the federal government and by the state, in whichever state that you're in. But what people don't realize is the fact that with solar, you're locked into a fixed rate. With your utility company, you have to face inflation every single year, and you have no control over that. So when you're protected against inflation, you're not only seeing savings in the short term, but you're also seeing tremendous savings in the long term. So yeah, we'll cut your bill in half up front, but in the long run, you're literally saving over 60, 80%, which is insane. But that's because you're actually taking control of your power now.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's another really good point that I know that you are really big on, is also it being environmentally friendly too, right? Like I know a lot of people may not see it as like they're more concerned with money because I mean, in this day and age, things seem to get more and more expensive, but that's another really
Right.
nice added benefit, right? Like to be helping out the environment.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the purpose of this program, is to help us transition from fossil fuels to a cleaner source of sustainable and renewable energy. And that's why this program has been put in place. And of course, in order for people to transition, there has to be some type of financial perk for people to take action. But all in all, the purpose is really to reduce our carbon footprint and move towards a cleaner, greener future.
That's awesome. I mean, I couldn't think of any other better reason why you wouldn't want to get solar panels. But now you touched on another really important topic there was you said there are certain qualifications, like I think credit
Mhm.
score, right, could be one of the qualifications.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, a homeowner has to be approved. And excitingly, we just received a new finance partner where they're requiring a lower credit requirement, which is now 600. Before it used to be
Hmm.
640 or more. But now it's 600, which is really exciting because now we get to help a lot more homeowners, of course. But other qualifications, we look at the conditions of the roof. We look to see if there's any shading around the property, meaning if there's any trees that would block the sun from hitting the panels. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Obviously, we have to look at their utility bill to see how much energy they're using. So that way we can create a system that will supply them with 100% of their energy needs. And of course, we have to prove that we're saving them money. So those are some of the qualifications there.
And you see, I really like that because that at one point you go from, pitching someone, right? Because, when you make an introduction or you're talking to someone or you're interacting with someone, the idea is to pitch them or sell them something. But in many ways, you don't sell them anything. You're kind of trying to see if the program makes sense financially for them, right? Because if they
Right.
don't qualify where you're going to say, hey, look, you're based on your usage and what I would save you, it's not financially a sound decision to go solar because of what you'd be spending out of pocket, let's say.
Right. And the first thing you mentioned was like door knocking and things like that when we started, but we actually don't door knock. We never have.
Hmm.
We have a very different approach. Again, we like to educate homeowners. We're just here to give you the information. It's not going to work for every single homeowner, unfortunately, because of the different factors. And we'll let them know, if this is not a good fit, it really doesn't make sense. But in most cases, literally 98% of the time, it makes sense for someone to go solar.
That's awesome. So I guess I know that there's this really awesome feature that I take advantage of 100% of the time. And listen, for those of you guys that are watching that are licensed real estate agents, I guarantee, like, exploit this to its very end because when we're buying property, or I say we, but when we're buying properties for our clients, right, helping to represent them on the buyer side of the transaction, we come across a lot of issues with home inspection. And one of the bigger, more expensive hot ticket items that come up is an aged roof. And we obviously
Mhm.
know that we can't really ask them to replace a roof, especially if it's not actively leaking. Let's say it's just beyond its life expectancy, 25, 30, 35 years. The shingles are pretty much gone. They've eroded. You need to get a new roof installed. Can you talk a little bit about that awesome program that you guys do that I always call you on? I know you're like, just tell me, just bring me someone who wants panels, but I'm always like, all right, well, can we get a new roof in there too?
Yeah, I mean, we have a roofing program and a tree removal program. We've come across a lot more homeowners who need a new roof or need to remove a tree and don't really want to, pay the upfront cost to do so. So with our program, we're able to incorporate the cost of the repair, whether it's a roof or a tree, into the solar project. With that, the homeowner doesn't have to put any money down. There's no out-of-pocket expense again. They just have to meet those qualifications. And on top of that, they receive a federal tax credit. So that's basically the federal government paying for 26% of the value of the system.
Oh my
So when you have the cost of the solar system and the cost of the roof combined together, now you're getting 26% on that entire project
God.
covered by the federal government. And that's not including the state incentives that are also available. So, yeah, I mean, it's amazing because a lot of homeowners don't have the money to repair their roofs and don't want to put anything up front or don't even want to take out a loan where they have high interest and things like that, we have really great finance options and they don't have to put any money down. So,
Yeah, I mean that I did not know about the federal and I think you mentioned the state last time we were on the call together, right? But
mhm,
I didn't know about the federal incentive too. So that's incredible. I mean,
yeah.
so now I guess it kind of boils down to one of the questions that I think a lot of people end up asking themselves. And I mean, in almost any situation, whether they're, they're buying let's say buying or renting a property, buying or leasing a car. Would you finance this? Would you recommend financing or leasing if you were, let's say, open to the idea of getting panels?
We always recommend ownership, owning the system, because when you own the system, you reap the financial benefits of it. When you're leasing the system, you technically don't own it. The
Mhm.
solar company does. So they're going to receive the federal incentives and the state incentives, not the homeowner. So when you own the system, you get to receive the federal and the state incentives. Now, it's very, very rare where I would recommend the lease to a homeowner. I would only recommend it if, it depends on their tax situation. But most of my clients, actually all of my clients, own the system.
Mm,
And
okay.
it's like, owning a home. When you own the system, you eliminate your bill entirely. The panels perform for 40 plus years, and now you're producing clean energy and you don't have to pay for it.
Wow. No, I mean that's awesome. And so I guess now let's say someone bought panels, right? They got them installed, they're financed them. I'm
Mhm.
assuming there's probably like a program. It depends on what the person purchasing or financing these panels, how they want to structure it, right? But I'm sure it's like maybe 10, 15, 20, 25-year program, right?
Yep, different terms, correct.
But now if let's say they bought a 20-year program or a 20-year term, and it they decide to sell their property 10 years into the owning the or financing or making the payments on their panels. How does that work? Like what sort of recommendations could they do? Because I do find that sometimes that becomes a question where now especially when it comes with the loan, right? The lender's like, oh, how much are they paying? Are they going to have to pay for it? I'm going to have to add it on top of their mortgage payments, and now they may or may not qualify anymore. So I mean, maybe if you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, so when you own the system and you're looking to move, it actually increases your property value by an average of 4.1% because solar is considered to be a home improvement, especially if you get a brand new roof with it. So you can transfer the ownership to the next homeowner, whether it's a lease or the ownership program. And all you're going to do is put the remaining cost of the solar project into the selling price of the home. So the next homeowner is going to come in, and this is already going to be included into their mortgage payment. And now they don't have to pay an electric bill because the system is paid off for already.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. So then, and then the new owner just pretty much reaps the benefits of whatever the
Not,
solar
yeah.
panels, yeah, without having to make any payments. I mean, they're adding it onto their, let's say the purchase price, but I mean,
Yeah, but they won't have an electric bill. They won't have to worry about inflation because people don't think about inflation and how that's going to affect them in the future, especially with electricity. If you're paying $150 now, that's going to double within the next 5 years, and then it's going to triple within the next 10 years. So it's scary how much
mhm.
people will be paying for electricity if they don't start making this transition, while these incentives are still available because they won't be available for forever.
Yeah. And you know what I was just thinking now with you saying that, like I could just imagine someone going crazy and removing their oven or gas stove for an electric one, like changing their entire
Everything
the
electric, yeah,
baseboard all
yeah.
electric, like water heater electric, so this way they can really just
Reap
benefit
the
from the fact that
benefits.
everything is electric powered by electric.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of homeowners who do that, or homeowners who are just switching to more energy efficient appliances in general.
Mm,
I recommend that to all homeowners using LED lights, energy efficient washers, dryers, anything that you can do to reduce your consumption is going to go a long way.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, so listen, I guess if someone says, sign me up today, I want to get my panels installed, what is and they qualify, right? Like you've vetted them, the savings are there, the credit score is there. They qualify based on, other external factors, like let's say direct sunlight, all this stuff. how long does it take to get the panels installed on average?
So I always tell my clients it takes 60 to 90 days. I like to always, under promise and over deliver.
Mm,
But a lot of my installs happen in under 60 days. It just depends on the township because, we have to go through permitting and inspections. Once the
mm.
system's installed, we have to inspect it again, make sure everything's good to go. And then you can go ahead and turn the system on. But it does take some time. But I always say 60 to 90 days at most.
And then as far as the benefits, as soon as they're installed and up and running, like you would see them reflected on your account immediately, or how does that work as far as like the
Yes.
savings and all that?
Yeah, so everyone will have a monitoring system where they can actually monitor their daily, weekly, monthly, and annual production and usage. And you will see the gradual production of your system once it's turned on through the application, or you can access it on the desktop, whatever you choose. But the other benefit is when your system is overproducing, meaning producing more than what your actual needs are, that excess supply of energy is going to go to the grid, and the utility company has to credit the homeowner because now
Oh,
they're utilizing energy from your system. So they have to start
wow.
technically
So
paying.
you're getting paid now.
Right, because you're now in control. So now you're producing your own energy, and you're supplying it to the grid. So they had to credit you for that.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that sounds like a no-brainer there. I mean, so listen, so anyone watching this, I strongly, and again, with real estate agents, and maybe we can touch on that just a little bit, because I know we spoke about the roof. I don't know if there's anything else or if it's limited to just the roof, and if it isn't, you obviously elaborate a little bit. But again, when it comes to requesting credits now, I don't recommend doing this while you're under contract, right? Especially because it doesn't make sense. You don't own the house yet. And I don't recommend the seller who is trying to sell their house do it in the process, like install panels, then do all of this at the, once you're finished, right? At the tail end, you've closed, you've signed all the documents, have the conversation now, and then have everything installed later. But is it limited to just the roof, or do you guys do a little bit more?
We do roof and trees.
Roof and trees. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Excellent. So,
Yep.
I mean, I guess that pretty much, I wanted to make this a brief interview. I do have a lot more questions. One of the ones, which again, I'd like to do a second video. So if you guys are interested, obviously I'll have Kayla back on, we can talk about it. The other interview, or the other question I had was like, when it comes to multis, if you can separate them based on, first and second floor. But again, we'll touch on that in a separate video, if anything. So this way we can kind of keep people cling for a little bit more. I do want to ask you one question, Kayla, because this is completely random. I feel like this is to put you a little bit on the spot here. Two questions. Ready?
Okay.
All right. First one. Who do you think is going to be in? Because Kayla, if you guys don't know this, Kayla has a background in basketball. She played for college, right? You played in college?
Yeah, I played college ball. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So who do you have right now? Obviously the season just started. Who do you have in the championship round?
Well, I'm a Knicks fan, so my hopes are always high for the Knicks. They made some progress last year. I don't know if you watched that game against them and the I think it was the Celtics
Celtics,
the
I
other
did. It
night.
was
That
like a
two
double. Was it
overtimes.
double overtime, right? Or
Yeah, double overtime. It was insane. It was a great game.
beating who then? The Knicks beating who?
Oof. I mean, I would like to just see them make it to the second round of playoff. I'm just hopeful. I'm a true Knicks fan, but I don't know who's gonna take it this year. There's a lot of good competition, so you kind of got to see how the season plays out first. But the Lakers look good, the Bucks look good again. The Knicks look solid. I mean,
They do look good.
I'm hoping that they go a long way. So I'm gonna say the Knicks because I'm just a Knicks fan. So
Okay, and then MVP, pick a player.
MVP. Oof, you're really putting me on the spot. I don't know. To
No.
be honest, I haven't been watching enough to say. To be
Yeah, well,
honest,
I know
who
it's
do you
you,
have?
right?
Who do you have?
Now listen, I mean, I feel like it's a very basic question, but I feel like Steph Curry
I was
could take
thinking
it.
Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I saw them. They were playing last night too.
Yeah, I mean, he's going off.
Yeah,
He's
he's a
playing really
beast.
well. I mean, granted, again, it just started. The season just started, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
looks, primed to take it.
Well,
So
I love Steph Curry, so if he wins MVP, I'm all for it. So
yeah, yeah. He's incredible. He's an incredible player. But anyways, thank you guys, for those of you guys watching. Thank you so much for joining us here in this interview. If you guys have any questions, Kayla, please tell everyone watching how they might be able to contact you.
yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Solar Queen K. I'll also just send Andres my information to maybe put it underneath the little
Absolutely.
video
So
here.
I'll tag you there. You guys can go ahead and follow her, shoot her a message, or send her an email. Like, probably better on social media though, right? I'm assuming.
Yep, social media is cool.
Okay, excellent, guys. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Andres Velasquez, the Dapper Realtor, real estate agent with Signature Realty, trying to give you guys all of, like, we're trying to save you money here. Like, come
Save
on.
money and save the planet while you're at it.
Yeah, save. Look, my head is in money, but save the planet too. I'm
It's
environmentally
okay,
sound
most
too.
people are.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, save the green and save the green, I guess, right? But